recording now. It's a 2-hour long shows we're recording. It adds up very quickly.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to open with a plug for the Patreon, but last week, again, for the second time this month, the after party was literally longer than the main show.
Yes.
So you're getting less than half.
I cut some out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now,
find out why in the after party.
It was still
find out what Matt and I said that needed to be removed.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
I need to ask this very serious question. How the hell did I not know that your wife went to school with Skulker?
Yeah, so this was one of those times where I thought I was going to have to mansplain something to my wife, only to be well and truly put in my place. So, do you want to give the listeners a little introduction to why we were talking about Skulker?
Good point.
So I went and got a new tattoo. Went and got a new tattoo yesterday, and
Can you show us, or is it somewhere that you can't show?
It's on my calf, so it'd be a bit awkward.
I'm going to bleep that.
But we can put a photo up on the Instagram. And
I'm going to beep the word beep in that sentence, Matt, too.
Very good.
So I went and found Skulker's first album, Morgan to the Moon, and I went, I'll get that tattooed on me. And then I sent you a photo to go, here's my new tattoo. And then you take over from here.
Yeah, so I just said to my wife, Luke got a new tattoo. And she goes, what is it? And I showed her the picture, thinking that I would then have to explain.
She could say, "What the fuck is that?"
What Skulker were, who they, how they fit in, why. And then she went, "Oh, Skulker," and I was like, What? Why do you know Skulker by name, by sight of this album cover tattoo Luke has?" And she just goes, "They went to my school," and I was like, "Bullshit!" So I fucking Googled it. And they did. They were a couple of years ahead of her, but
you were like, "I don't believe you."
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Which actually means I probably know, like, because I was friends with people who also went to school with them, and so there's people that I probably know who know, which is sort of crazy small world.
It does make sense that you would have tried to make friends with North Shore all-girls high school girls back in the 90s.
Well, I was the same age at the time. Which one make
no, I'm not implying anything. I'm just...
No, for the listeners, let's be clear about that. That's fair.
Yes, and there's a reason I would have wanted to become friends with them.
I do like how Luke said...
Sex with them.
Luke said, how did I not know that your wife went to school with Skulker? Like, Skulker are so famous that surely she would have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Well, to me, they are.
No, I understand that. But it's not like, oh...
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't listen to Triple J of that 1 year that they were in the top 100, you can be forgiven for not... And I thought I was going to have to be an obscure band from... No, she really put me in my place.
It's not like if I just off the hand said, "Oh, yeah, no, Jenna went to school with Ryan Reynolds." And you guys were like, "Hang on, what the fuck?" Like,
Ryan Reynolds is a good... I was going to call you out for a strange go-to on that, but actually Luke would be fucking impressed if Jenna went to school with Ryan Reynolds.
I like Ryan Reynolds.
Grew up in Canada, first of all, so that would be impressive. But
okay,
he's a nice guy.
Calling myself.
Did anybody watch the Olympic opening ceremony this morning?
I did.
I saw a photo of the bridge with the
smoke.
Smoke looked beautiful.
It went for 3.5 hours. So it was
that's normal.
Quite long. And I assume that the meeting that happened before they planned it was right. We need to make this the most French thing anyone has ever seen.
Nice.
It was so fucking French.
More French than allo allo?
Allo allo level French for sure. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
What, the British show?
Yeah.
No. Ballet dancers in the Louvre. Ooh. Just I was waiting for people to come out with baguettes, but their I don't like using the word climax. They're what happened? Their big cool thing that happened at the end.
Yep.
Climax is the word.
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
I understand your apprehension.
Was Celine Dion singing on the Eiffel Tower?
Just on the top.
Who is Canadian?
Yeah,
midway
and she's
up.
French Canadian.
French Canadian.
But she is French Canadian, right?
Yeah,
so she's
honorary.
singing in French, and people fucking loved it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, well, that's not a French person.
But yeah, Hannah watched it, and she said like the Australian commentators were a bit weird and not really explaining anything.
Weird. Yeah, and it was like, it's so funny. Like, so this hot air balloon went up at one point, and my daughter was like, why a hot air balloon? And I'm like, I assume it's because the Montgolfier brothers who invented the hot air balloon back in 1783 were from France. And she's like, okay, cool. A good 10 minutes later, one of the commentators was like, anyway, incidentally, it says here, so he must have Googled it in the real time.
Yeah,
The balloon was invented by the Montgolfier
I mean, to be
brothers.
fair, you could have said
17
anything.
Yeah,
It's going to be like,
true.
that's not what they taught me at school, Dad.
I have 5 or 6 weird facts in my brain, and it doesn't come up very often
Sure.
that
No,
I
that's
get to
fair.
just pump out, Dad, why is there a hot air balloon in France?
This was your time to shine.
Yeah.
No, because I've learned
The
sometimes
fucking year.
Leah will go, why? And I go, so, I used to go, oh, I'm not really sure. But now I'm like, just say whatever. It doesn't matter. So I just make up something fun, and then she
There we
laughs.
Jesus.
They're even
No,
going to
no.
accept it.
Just make her laugh.
Or
That's all.
ask follow-up questions. Well, why?
Yeah. Just say something funny, make her laugh.
Distract her.
So Harper likes books. I assume Lyra likes books as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kids love
We have to give her
books.
book tickets. I can explain
Book
that. When
tickets?
you finish your story, and then I'll explain that if you want me to.
I definitely want you to.
Yeah.
But Harper has decided she's bored of books that exist now, and she wants original material every night,
No
made
pressure.
up on the spot, and it is so difficult. So I just tell her The Hobbit. I've just told her a chapter of The Hobbit each night with her as the Hobbit, right? So last night she was in the fucking woods with the trolls,
Right.
tricking them to keep talking so that they turn to stone when the sun comes up. She's like, Dad, that was a fucking great story.
One day
I'm like,
she's
"Yeah,
going to
no,
grow up
I
and
would."
sue Tolkien's estate. She's going to be like, my dad told me this as a kid.
Yeah,
You
my
fucking
dad
stole
wrote
it.
this 70 or 80 years after Tolkien.
All right, now.
Book tickets,
yeah.
so she can have 5. She can pick 5 books, and that's it before she goes to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah,
Otherwise,
because otherwise it can just go on and
it
on.
never fucking ends.
What happens if she wants the same book read again in the same session? Is that a separate ticket?
Oh, that's
or can she
interesting.
be
That
like,
actually
"I'm on-"
hasn't come up. That's interesting.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What? Last night I read Unicorn Moonicorn 3 times.
Yeah. Well, no, it hasn't come up. Actually, and the skull hasn't been getting a lot of rotation lately. If you want to know what the skull is,
right.
listen a few episodes ago. That was number 1
I
for a while. But...
still think the skull is a little too full on.
Yes.
for my
Really? She
bedtime
liked
reading.
it. She liked it. I've got one that she. I bought her. This is too advanced, clearly, because it doesn't go so well. But it's a book about Marcus Aurelius, but it's written for children.
Yep.
And she
children
wanted to
dying
read
to
it.
know.
She wanted
Is it
to.
by
Ryan
Dominic
Holiday?
Sambrook?
No, it's by Ryan Holiday.
Because he does kids' history books as well.
Yeah, I looked at his.
But I think they're a bit older again.
Exactly, and I mean this is too. I just
Yeah.
got it.
But I mean,
because-
I think he's are for 12-year-olds.
yeah. Okay.
And yours might be for 6-year-olds, but they're still too old for
Yeah,
3-year-olds.
it is. Yeah. But she asked to read it, and then even she asked Jenna to read it the other night too, and Jenna was like, "That book's not." She gets bored like real quick, and you just turn handfuls of pages at that point. And she, for once, is not complaining when you do that. She'll tell you. She knows the books.
Are there any pictures of Russell Crowe in there?
No,
that's a
unfortunately.
Draw
But
one in.
could
Draw
that
a
not
cheeky
be a-
little picture of Russell Crowe.
But that could not be a good way to do it. Like, she gets bored with it, which means that she's maybe so you can just sort of skip and sort of get through the process a bit faster.
Well, that's because I
Is
say
that not a
normally
good
if
thing?
you try that, she knows. Like even if it seems like she's
yeah.
distracted, you skip a page, she'll just stop and she'll like grab my hand. She'll go, "You missed a page."
Because she
Yeah.
knows
And it's
the
like,
"Sorry."
sorry,
Like,
and
Don't
she's
do
like,
that
and then
the second time.
lately she'll go, "Don't ever do that again." You go, okay. Today, we're throwing a ball back and forth, and I threw it
Yeah.
wrong, whatever that means. And she goes, "Dad, if you don't throw it better, I'm going to take it away. Okay.
Amazing.
Did she give you any instructions to what you did wrong?
No.
No.
Just not that.
I'd just like to take a quick minute just to speak directly to angry people on YouTube.
Oh,
yes, the picture on the thumbnail is something we'll talk about. We'll fucking get there. The show goes for an hour, all right? We also just want to catch up on our lives. All right, deal with it. Okay, comment all you fucking want, mate.
I think
Anyway,
we've been doing this for
back to
so
you guys.
long. We have. I know you guys are new you new YouTube people, and we appreciate that. We appreciate you turning up at all. But we've been told people like this shit. So
Some people only listen for the banter and stop watching as soon as we start giving a review. All right?
yeah.
So
As soon as we mention Star Wars, they leave.
yeah. We've got paid members, card-carrying members of
That's
the
the
after
thing.
party that turn off if we talk about Star Wars.
We're going to do what they want, not what you want. If you want to tell us what to do,
Star Wars news.
go to patreon.com/multiple
Yeah.
nerdgasm.
That's where you can have your voice.
We don't have any
I
Star
like
Wars
you all.
news.
No, it's not Star Wars news this
I
week.
appreciate people.
No Star Wars news.
No,
Be
There
quiet.
is some The Boys news.
No,
It's
it's not in the
it's
Boys.
not in the spreadsheet.
I was
but,
just watching that.
Yeah, I'm in season 3, but I've slowed right down because I must admit it's gotten a bit boring. Or maybe I just went into 3 too soon after, or 4 rather, too soon after 3.
Oh, you're in
Evidently,
4.
it's going to end. Yes, 4 now. Yeah. It's going to end with season 5.
Yeah, I heard that.
But they've just announced they're doing a prequel series.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This like how it all started, I guess.
Yeah,
Void
right.
Origins.
because we're coming to the end, but we want to make more money and we don't want to cover
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
original,
We
so
don't
let's
wanna
do this.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
It does seem like they've run out of juice on the show. Kind of. It's I'm not
They're
surprised
stretching
it's
one
ending.
storyline a long way, and
I
they
wouldn't be-
started. They shot himself in the foot by
Yeah.
going, "Season 1, the bad guy is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Go, write 5 seasons."
I mean, the books go for longer, so I would have thought there'd be material, but maybe the book. I don't know. Comics are less dense, I guess.
Yeah.
So that
And
might
you have
be-
to. You need explaining less in a comic book. You're allowed to just say something in a comic and have
sure.
people go, "Cool, I'm
Fine, it's a
following
comic.
this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just tend to accept stuff a lot more. With television shows, they don't just accept anymore, as we've learnt. You need to spell it out for them.
Yeah, that's right.
I've still been watching Reacher. I'm in season 2. It's still it's pretty good. It's not like a solid 10 out of 10 or anything like that, but it's pretty good. It's fun. It's light in a way. I think I told you it's light and not light at the same time. Like it's very violent, but light. If that makes sense.
Look,
So
one thing that's starting to scare me, because Apple, while they are a terrible streaming service, they don't have a lot that we
got
want.
some good stuff.
The stuff that they do have is really good.
Super high quality.
Like
Silo,
Severance,
Severance.
Silo,
Yeah.
but I've read
Fountain.
an article recently that
Foundation.
they're going to slow down their spending because they've
okay.
been spending a lot of money. So evidently Severance costs $20 million an episode. Where is this money going?
If season 2, I read this too. If
got a lot of
season 2
celebs.
isn't very different than season 1, like
Yeah.
it was one set, mate.
It's got a lot of
Yeah.
celebs in it.
Computers from the 80s.
So yeah, like I
salaries.
think someone's, but even I don't know, 20 million an episode. That's a
Huge stars. I mean, they're
Christopher Walken.
yeah.
yeah, but yeah. But he's not in season 2, or maybe not. Maybe who knows?
Oh, John Turturro. He's famous.
He's
But-
famous, but I don't think he's a billionaire.
He was
I
in
think-
I don't think
Transformers.
he's.
But yeah, Apple's been
He is.
spending all
He's
this
excellent
money,
in Transformers.
but I don't think they're getting a return on the investment because honestly, you forget Apple is there.
More than any other streaming service, I have to imagine Apple is what people do. Apparently, these are public enemy number one for streaming companies. Are people who sign up, watch a thing, cancel. And I think because Apple stuff is very high quality, but there's not a lot of it, they would suffer from that the most because you'd get people pay $10, watch everything. Like Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
people love.
Yep.
That comes out, people will sign up, pay $10, watch it all, cancel.
Yep.
Now you can leverage that well, and KO do that remarkably the sports streamer here in
Oh, yeah.
Australia. It is the most expensive. It's $25 a month for a single screen. You want 2 screens, you pay again. But they know you don't watch every sport year round. They know you likely have one sport you just watch a season of, and they will say cancel anytime, no problem. But we know you'll be back next year at this exact time, and we'll start to just send you a couple of emails being like, vroom vroom, coming soon.
But I even think with something like Kaya though, you may sign up for just that, but then there is a ton of other stuff on there.
Because you'll be like, what else do I like? Yeah.
But with Apple TV, you go and you watch The Severance and Silo and stuff, and then you go, what else is here? And there's not a lot.
No.
I imagine that most people that have Apple TV have it for the hardware, right?
Sure.
And then the channel is just a bonus. But you
have to pay for it still. I still have to pay for it if I want it. Like I do have an Apple TV. I have an Apple TV upstairs, living room, and then at the treadmill. Just because it's so much better than any other fucking device for it. So, but I still have to subscribe.
But yeah, so my fear is that maybe the quality is not going to continue for future things. I think the current stuff that they've filmed is good, but I think they get the free checks.
Mosquito Coast is another one on Apple that was very good.
Oh yeah, didn't they do? Or aren't they doing the Brad Pitt F1 movie? Isn't that Apple?
Oh, maybe.
Am I wrong about that? Apple, Brad Pitt.
Streamers still haven't
Formula
found
1.
out the exact right way to make money though,
It is
because
an Apple original film.
Oh, there you go. I'll be watching that, but probably not on Apple TV. But they
want you to go a movie for
streaming
that.
I think they're still trying, because you know that Amazon have just introduced ads.
Oh
on
yes,
tier.
I
used to not have any ads.
I actually, as soon as I saw that, I went, "Here's more money."
I've been watching.
I went. Well, I'm sailing the seas for the rest of the boys.
So the Boys has ads at the beginning, and that's it, which is nice. Reacher, I've just been putting up with it because, like I said, I'm on the treadmill, so it doesn't really matter because I'm not like I got anywhere else to be at that when I'm doing that. But it's got ads at 3 points in the fucking show, and it's been so long since I've had to put up with that. Like it's like 30 seconds, like 3 times.
I can't do it. I came up once, the first ad, and I just, here's money. Go away.
It did make me think the other day, though, if I'm not getting free stuff with no ads, I'm not going to be doing their Prime Day delivery now. I'm going to order it, and I want it here the next fucking day. Because they do this thing where, you know,
don't
like,
fuck me.
Nominate your Prime Day, so by default, everything comes on a Monday. It's like, no. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm paying you for.
When I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you've got to, because, like, if people tuned into Channel 10 only because, I don't know, The Simpsons was on, that's a bad example because it's on all the time. But, you know.
Literally all the time.
And then stopped watching it, then that would just mean ratings went down, you know, spiked during The Simpsons. They could charge advertisers more for some slots in The Simpsons based on data. But, you know, we constantly hear about shows that rated really, really well on streaming getting cancelled because they didn't gain new subscribers. They only get new subscribers for new shows.
What I love, sometimes I'll load up Netflix and it'll go like there's a whole thing like made by Netflix, and you go cancelled, and all cancelled after one season, but they're Netflix exclusives, and it's sort of like that's not
because they used them to get you to sign up.
And some of them are quite good, but
I do wonder what the numbers are on that. Is it better for, like, say, Amazon's a good example because they're doing it now. Are they making more money off selling the ads that go on there now? And if so, is it a lot more? It could be, right? It could be quite a lot more in theory.
Are the ads different?
No, to me they just
like
look
each time.
Or are you seeing like the same?
Or are you seeing the same ad again and again,
like just constantly?
No, it's they're different. Like I do see the same ad a couple times. I don't think I've seen the same ad during an episode. Once, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then the next episode will come on, I might see the same ad again.
Because I think I was
streaming. I remember when Foxtel started doing ads, you would just have the same 3 ads on repeat every break.
Which is just really annoying. You get that on KO because it's just a sort of a glitch. It just shows Fox, and it's just the same ad. And
it's just like 30 seconds of ad. Go. Whatever.
Here's ad. Yeah.
Show them something.
And it just makes me get annoyed by the companies, not make me want to buy from them.
Matt, explain this to me. Podcast ads, right?
Yes.
Which we've never done. are they some kind of automated thing that something?
Yeah.
Because when I go back and
interesting,
listen to an
actually.
old episode of something and I hear a brand new ad that I've heard on other new podcasts, I'm taken aback.
It's interesting, right? So there's different ways you can do it. That is the way that they do it now, generally speaking. I don't like those, but that's a very popular way to do it. So what you do is when you upload your episode to the service, you, I guess ideally beforehand, put spots where you're going to have ads so that you can, so it's like not weird.
So it doesn't
but you
interrupt.
just go in the tool and you go, all right, here, put an ad. And then they'll just put one. And then it's actually spooky in a way because I literally will get ads for stuff around here in Rhode Island. On, like, they're on fucking, the JFK podcast or whatever. And it's just always like, still, like, it's like, come down to Providence. And it's like, hang on a minute, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, better go to Providence.
Yeah, it was just weird to hear them targeted. They're
But,
literally
I don't
targeted ads
assume
now, whereas podcasts
baked
never
in.
were. It was like,
That's right.
fucking Casper mattresses or whatever.
Yeah.
Not Casper
I
mattresses.
prefer targeted
Winchester
ads,
Street
though.
in fucking Providence. Like,
I have also noticed, because I'll binge podcasts back to back quite often. I let them stack and then binge. And I've noticed, especially on The Rest is History, because they always throw to their ads. So they say they're going to an ad and then they expect the ad to be put in there. So you know where the ad break is. But if I've listened to 3 episodes, it's almost like I've gotten my ad quota out of the way because they'll throw to an ad and it'll just be a second of silence and come straight back to the show.
lucky
Yeah,
glitch,
after
maybe.
about 2 episodes. So it might be a certain thing, as if the same listener has heard all the ads in succession, they're free.
It'll be like, when you record stuff off TV too, like if you download podcast episodes and save them somewhere, the MP3 file, because that's all they are, you could kind of archive, historical ads.
Did you download podcasts at all now? Because I'm like 100% streaming only.
Well, you can't stream in the new version of Overcast, so...
I use something else now.
Oh, yeah?
Actually. Yeah, I use...
I actually have a folder on my computer here called Podcast Archives, where I do download them now because...
that's cool that you do that for posterity anyway.
I have a command line tool that I use to download them because there have been podcasts that I didn't do that with, and you just can't get them anymore.
Yeah. Pocket Cast I use now. I can't remember. I used to pay for Overcast, and now at some point it did something that I didn't like, and I switched, but I can't even remember what it was.
The new version is unfinished. It's still good, but it's like missing some features. Like it does just you can't stream anything anymore. You have to download them
that's
fully
unusual.
before it will play.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a technical limitation or if he just decided to do that.
It's not like it's a good thing. Downloads take like seconds for a podcast. So it's not a
but you're right, because imagine you taped something off the TV on VHS, right? And years later you were watching it, but it was an ad for something that was coming up now. Like that's what it feels like when you listen to a podcast, an old podcast.
Yeah.
When you're getting fed new ads.
But say, for example, Luke, if I'm leaving here to drive to Vermont and I'm like, I'll just play this, and I go to hit play and I go to drive, and it's like, oh no, I have to wait for it to download now.
Yeah,
but we're waiting seconds.
Not on my phone reception here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. If I'm on the Wi-Fi at home, of course, but
I can download like an audio book in quickly here.
Well, here in the house, yes.
No, but even on my phone, just when I'm out and about.
Well, it's that sweet Australian infrastructure, I guess.
Good old 5G.
There's not a lot of things we do well, but yeah, you got those 5G chips implanted in you just after COVID. Yeah, I got mine.
Straight away.
It was in
speeds everything up.
And maybe that's why he took out the
you
streaming
might not
feature.
have gotten yours because land of the free.
That's right. Yeah. But we caught him. We caught him and we made him take him out.
Yeah. Fucking idiots.
Still got a new candidate for president?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Because it'll be a week from now when anyone hears this.
It'll be someone else.
I was listening back to last week's show, day before yesterday, and we're like, fucking someone took a shot at Trump and Biden's freaking out about it. And we're like, wow, that's...
Yeah. And then now it's like, fucking Biden's like, you know what? You guys don't want me? Fuck off then.
Yeah, but now everyone's like, should we vote for Trump? He's quite old. And it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that
Well,
turns around real quick.
That's what it's funny, right? They're pissed about it because it is funny because they spend so much time and money talking about how old Biden was, and then now it's backfired because it's like, oh fuck, Trump's the oldest candidate ever.
Yeah.
It was Biden, now it's Trump.
It was. Yeah. How old is Trump?
78, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that.
Actually, he looks pretty good for a 78.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
But yeah, no, he probably would be 70.
Yeah,
he
he
is.
must
Yeah.
be. He's been kicking around for fucking ever.
yeah,
78.
and it's
He
looking
was
like,
our
and
age in Home Alone 2.
And then it moves so fast though, because then Biden was like, you know what? I've listened and I've heard what you said, and fine, I won't run. And we were like, oh fuck. And then I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to learn about who all the potentials could be, because I guess they'll do something to the DNC. And then all of a sudden it was like, Biden said, oh, I nominate, or I'd like to back Kamala Harris. And I was like, oh, we'll see how that goes. And then literally everybody who matters said, yeah, no, we'll back her. And then,
Although Obama still hasn't technically said he backs her,
he has
right?
now, I think. Yeah,
He
I
has
think
now.
he has now.
But the reason
See,
why
this is how
I think-
fast it moves.
I think
Yeah.
I said this in the chat when we were talking about that. I think the reason why they had to do it, they had to show a united front because they were sort of fighting
It's
over
the
here.
one thing they can do. Yeah.
It would have
That's fair.
sort of put doubt on the votes, and then you sort of would have been Trump against multiple candidates while that's being sorted out. And so it's better to do just
It
one.
could have been a fucking disaster.
Yep.
And I would have put money on it that it would have been a disaster. Getting rid of... I mean, nobody was going to vote for Biden other than people who were just diehard didn't want Trump. That was the only reason you would vote for Biden. You wouldn't vote for him because you thought he was going to be a good president because he didn't know he was president.
Either that or, if you just, the policies, you vote on the policies as well. Like, I can't imagine, anyone, kind of, what's the word? Liberal would vote Republican no matter who the candidates were. So but I see you would,
right.
but you would never go. Oh,
But you
Biden's
wouldn't
my
do it
guy.
because you thought
He's
Biden
going to be
was
so
exactly.
good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's gonna revolutionize our country. Revolutionize?
No, he's going to survive. And
Yeah, fucking please live for 4 years. It would be a disaster.
He may not have been like the strongest there, but he was good at putting the right people in the right positions. And
I've got to say,
having
to
that.
put aside personal ambition and say, okay, fine,
Yep.
Yeah.
I will
do the right thing
step
for your
aside.
country.
That's pretty.
Trump would not do
Could you
that.
imagine
good.
Trump doing that? Yeah, exactly.
No, that's
but
that's
I'll
pretty
say
good.
this about America. America has, maybe you're hearing different stuff, Matt, but America has shocked and impressed me. Kamala Harris coming out, guns blazing. I've not heard the words black or woman in any conversation about it.
There has been a bit, and then I saw some clips, and then apparently there was like a memo that went around at like Fox News that said, our demographic is pretty different these days, and the people that would agree with you using that vernacular are going to vote for us anyway. We need to not scare away the others. So shut the fuck up with that stuff.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's interesting. And good, because at least they're listening. For the wrong reasons. They're just
no, there was
looking at the bottom line,
particularly
but
one
still.
clip of some host talking about. So I'm not going to. Not worth repeating, but it was just something about being like a black woman, and it was like you could see all the other hosts were like, "Oh, are we doing
The
that?
closest
read
I
the
saw
memo?
was
Are we doing that?"
the closest I saw was one this morning that says, "Yes, she was born in America and can be the president."
that dredged
Because
that
obviously, because someone's like, "Well, hold on, she doesn't look very American."
But wait, so when do you vote?
November.
Oh, it's not till November.
November.
Got ages, yeah.
So there's some time. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I'm now going to learn all about Kamala Harris and just see what's she about.
Seems okay.
So far, she seems pretty. So far, it's going like for the Democrats going remarkably well.
Yeah.
That I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised by how well
Surprisingly
this
well.
is going. Yeah, exactly.
Same.
When he stepped down, I was like, oh, this is going to be a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Apparently not. Apparently it's going fine. So
Fucking
interesting.
That clip that you sent us, Matt, of Obama announcing the death of Osama bin Laden, contrasted with.
Trump.
I couldn't even tell who he was talking about. Trump
It's
talking
the
about
head of
some other
is it
leader.
the head of ISIS? I can't. I don't. I'm going to mispronounce it if I try to say it. But yeah, it was the
Well,
two
I'm
speeches.
pretty sure he did as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So different.
Yeah. Amazing.
All about him.
Very different people.
all right, let's move away from politics.
Yes.
I read this week George Lazenby is retiring from acting.
He's retiring. Full stop. Because
I haven't seen him do a lot of acting recently.
Yeah, because I read the headline and I was like, okay. He's just retiring from work because he actually
don't ask him to do anything.
Correct. Apparently, he did Bond. In the article, it says that he declined to do any more. That's not how I heard it, but fine, whatever.
It depends who you ask. I think we will never know the truth.
Yeah, I heard that he was too cool.
Fucked it for himself and wasn't invited back.
Yeah, was too cool, wouldn't get a haircut, wouldn't dress up at events, wouldn't do what the fuck the studio wanted, and they said, he's got to go.
Yeah. Grew a big hippie beard straight after and did all the interviews with that.
And they said, no, you're supposed to be James Bond, and he was like, fuck you, cunts.
Yeah. In that exact voice, probably.
Yeah, because he's Australian.
The one Australian Bond that we had.
So he's retired, and then apparently after acting in Bond and some other stuff, he went into real estate.
Oh,
and he's been doing that, plus he does conventions and stuff, and some other. He's done odd acting things here and there.
As in personal real estate, or like he was an agent? Because if I went to a fucking showing and George Lazenby was like, buy this fucking house, son, I'd be like, okay. Sure.
It says he began his career as a model and only acted in commercials when he was cast to replace Sean Connery. He declined subsequent films. He moved on into business and invested in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so what he's announced this week here, this hasn't been an easy decision, but it's time to announce my retirement from work. Therefore, I won't be doing any more acting or making public appearances, doing any interviews or signing any autographs or anything as of today. So I think that's why
So he's like 84. I think he just wants to he's made his money. He just wants to...
It's
you can all leave me alone now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also, don't forget that earlier this year, he made an appearance at a screening of On Her Majesty's Secret Service and was asked to do a talk afterwards and went up and was just like, can somebody please explain this transsexual craze that's going on at the moment? and was like,
true?
he, her, them, I don't know what to call anyone now.
Oh, God.
And everyone was like, what the fuck? And then people, and they're like, could you just talk about James Bond? And then apparently he was like, yeah, anyway, while I was shooting James Bond, I had a threesome with two of the women in the cast. And they're like, shut it down.
All right.
Maybe it's part of why he's...
I think his management has probably said to him, maybe just...
It was like
Just
the
don't do
Biden
anymore.
situation. They were like,
But I
we need you to step down, mate.
But
If Biden had been like, I had a threesome with two women in my
In the
cabinet.
Oval Office.
But remember when Stan Lee was getting to the end of his sort of life? I
that
thought
was
like
sad.
they should have let him. I wanted him to retire because it just felt like they were wheeling him out to make more money. Whereas
Yeah,
Stan Lee-
literally wheeling him out to make
Yeah.
money.
That story reminds me of the opposite of Carrie Fisher. When we saw Carrie Fisher and she was up on stage going, I fucked him and I fucked him and I fucked him. And everyone was like, more.
Who else did you fuck?
And she was
When
like,
were you high? I was
fucked him.
always high.
And I was always fucking everybody.
Yeah, I don't know who my kids' dads are.
She was fucking
She was
hilarious.
excellent. She's
I
great, and
miss her.
also Shatner is also good too. It's like,
Shatner's funny.
you're
in a
going to do
different
another
way.
movie? Let me tell you why I love horses.
He's funny in it. I like it, because he's just heard everything.
He doesn't give a shit what you
He
ask.
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't care what your question is. He's going to talk about whatever comes
He wants
to
to
his
tell
mind.
a story. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
They're
who
more-
surprised
they're
me
more
that he's-
prompts than questions.
yes, but you know who surprised me? Who's still acting and should retire as well? Christopher Lloyd. Remember when we went to see him at
Shocked me that he's in
Supernova
some
like
upcoming
years
films.
ago, and he didn't know where he was.
It
Back
certainly seemed
then.
that way. Yeah, he was
Remember
very.
when he was talking about his role on Star Wars as
Yeah.
if he had played Captain Kirk?
Yeah, he said he was an honor to play Captain Kirk, and then everyone was like, "What?"
What?
And I was like, "Yeah,
He doesn't.
that was odd."
Yeah, but yeah, he's still kicking on. But yeah, maybe I think it's time for him to sit back. But no, he's still acting. And when he's acting, he's sort of good in what he's not terrible in what he's doing. But is it a case of what they're doing with what's his name? Die Hard, Bruce Willis, where they're basically taping the scripts to people to read your lines because you don't know where you are.
Update on that. He's non-verbal now. Bruce Willis.
Oh God,
He can't speak.
that happened so quickly.
That's
Well,
sad, yeah.
That's insane.
But man, we made so many jokes about that run of bad movies that he had
Yes.
without knowing he was just like, I
Yeah.
need to save as much money
We
for
were-
my
Yeah.
fucking family as
We
I
were like,
possibly
why is he
can."
doing this? He doesn't need to do this. He did need to do it,
he
apparently.
did do it.
Absolutely.
He just
And we're
needed the
he
money.
can't even remember his lines. He's got an earpiece and somebody's reading his lines. He's mentally
Yeah,
deficient.
yeah.
Like,
His brain is melting, literally.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, terrible.
Very sad. Because actually,
We
it's
thought he was,
easy
and
to
everyone was
make
like,
fun
oh,
of
he's
someone-
lazy. He can't be bothered learning the lines. That was the worst thing. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, it's not that. Yeah, awful.
Because actually, it's easy to forget how much you like Bruce Willis as an actor because he did get a bit too Hollywood and he got
No,
old
but get
and-
back Die Hard.
yeah.
He's fucking charming. He's great. And what's
Yeah.
the show?
Any of those.
What's the show?
Moonlighting.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking great. Still great when you watch it. Orson Welles is on an episode of Moonlighting.
But yeah, like when they were making those moves towards the end, what was like $4 million budgets, like a quarter went to him, and he was just like banking a check just to
Yeah.
try and make as much as he could, just to because
Yeah.
he's got to pay
Yeah,
medical
I'll do
And they
whatever
would
you
do it
want.
all on one day. There was
Yeah.
one that I was watching where he's hiding behind a tree watching the action and he just comments on it. And it's clearly a tree in a complete... It's not in a forest. It's clearly just the tree outside his house or whatever.
do you remember we
and it's
told-
just comped in with an action movie.
There was an anecdote. I think we talked about it on the podcast. There was an anecdote that's from somebody. I don't even know where I heard this. That somebody had been on set for one of those, and they were like, Bruce Willis was like, "G'day, mate. What are you doing?" Well, not g'day, mate, because he's not Australian. But he's
Yeah.
like, "Hi,
Yeah.
what are you doing?" And the guy's like, "What? I'm the grip." He's like, "What do you mean? What's all this? What are the cameras and stuff?" And he was like, "I'm making a movie." And he's like, "Oh,
So,
yeah." Like, "Oh, who's in it?"
that's so
You are, mate.
You,
fucking hell.
You're
You're
the
one of
star.
the biggest movie
And I
stars in the
remember
world, mate.
We're all laughing about it, like, "Oh, what's he on?" But like,
You're right.
yeah, no. No, it's gone.
yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's really sad. I can't remember why we were even talking about this. What were we talking about?
Lazenby.
They should be retiring,
Lazenby.
and we're just going through and talking about all the other actors who we think should have retired. And
Should retire.
yeah,
That's right.
Oh, you know who should retire from public appearances? And I love this man, so I'm not being funny, but is Tim Curry. He needs to go home.
Oh, why is he still doing
I
stuff?
literally cry
The photos.
anytime people show photos. Oh, I met Tim Curry. Tim Curry doesn't know you were there. He
That's-
doesn't know where he is. This is
Why?
the Stan Lee thing all over again.
Yeah.
Wheel him back home.
Why
Put a
is he-
blanket on him. Bring him a cup of
Like-
tea.
Stanley spoke to me, right? And even I felt bad. But like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Curry.
You
why
painted
are they-
yourself green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why are they doing this to Tim Curry?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
Although you guys you still haven't watched the Val Kilmer documentary, guys.
No, I should do that.
documentary
No, I should do
of
that.
the fucking year. It is so good, but he still does conventions, and he's like basically nonverbal, because he was like, I didn't do this stuff when I was famous because I thought I was too good for it, and now that I'm an old man and I'm very sick, I realize that actually without the people that go to these conventions and stuff, I was nothing. These are the people who made me famous by loving me. And he's like, so people still come. They don't care that I'm old and that I don't look good. They just want to meet me and tell me that they fucking love Doc Holliday. And
do you remember that
the
Captains documentary about the Star Trek captains? And they were talking about, William Shatner was talking about how
That's
he fucking
right.
hated conventions because he was a serious actor and people would come up to him at these conventions and call him Captain Kirk. And he was like, I'm not fucking Captain Kirk. I'm William Shatner. I'm a serious actor. And then, for years and years, he wouldn't do them and he hated them and he was always a prick. And then apparently Patrick Stewart,
Yeah, who
Met
is
him
a
one
very
day.
serious actor. Like he's a
and he said
stage
to him,
actor.
and he
He's
basically said to him, he goes,
a
"Isn't it
thespian."
wonderful that you've done something so iconic and so wonderful that these people associate you with this art that you've created?" And he said it just like flicked a switch in his head, and now he loves it. And they
it's
paid
true,
him more money.
and it's like, we were, yeah. But even like there's people from Buffy that are like not big. I'm not even talking about Nicholas Brandon and stuff. Like, what's the guy from Angel who plays the green-faced karaoke singer?
Oh,
He
he's
can
died.
read your future.
So
Yeah.
Fuck, has he?
Yeah.
I don't know that I knew that.
Yeah,
but he did
he
cons
died.
for years, right?
Sure.
And I remember thinking at one point, like, oh, come on, no one's going to a con to see you. Like,
No, they
like,
do.
but actually, like, if you get on one thing and it's nerdy enough and your character was likable, you can ride that forever.
Sure.
If you know how.
There are people at Rhode Island Comic Con. I'm not going to name anybody because I'm not sure I remember their names, but they're local actors who have been extras in television shows and have a booth where it says like, again, I'm not going to name the show just in case.
Sure, but you're like, I've been in these shows.
I've been in these shows, standing behind actors that you would recognize.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Why not cash in a little bit?
I bet that little guy from Furiosa is going to be doing some cons. I would if I was him.
Fuck yeah.
Recognizable. I'd be like,
Yeah.
that's me up there.
This is a slight tangent, but it just popped into my head talking about cons and stuff like that because Simon
Slight
Pegg.
tangents is what we do.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg was on Katie Sackhoff's podcast last week.
Oh, shit.
You should listen to that. It's very good.
I
He told this story about how, because they're talking about how they keep in touch with people from the various things they're on. And these days, apparently they have WhatsApp groups for like a show you worked on or a movie you were in.
Yeah, right.
And they all chat and stuff and keep up. And they said it's really nice compared to the old days. And then Simon Pegg told this story about how when they were doing the third Star Trek movie, there was some, I forget the name of it, social media app where you would just send like videos and shit to each other. And it was all, like Snapchat where you put your phone number in and that's how it links you up and all that kind of stuff. So they're filming this movie, the Star Trek, the third one, whatever it was. And they're sending each other stupid fucking Snapchat videos or whatever, in costume, on set, goofing around, like, except being very inappropriate at times. Sending videos to each other, all this kind of stuff. And everybody's joining in, except they notice, like, Carl never sends any, Carl Urban.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so one day he sends a message on the app to Carl, and he goes, Carl, mate, get the fuck in on this. And they get this message back saying, I'm not Carl. And so he's like, what? And then so he goes and talks to Carl Urban, and he goes, that's not my phone number, mate.
Phone number? Yeah.
He goes, that's the phone number I had for a brief time in LA. I've got my Kiwi phone number now, and so they
normal phone.
and then he said he called everybody together, and he's like, we've signed NDAs, we're in costume,
wow.
sending fucking messages to some random person. So they tracked him down. The studio tracked him down, and he was like a landscape gardener who just got Carl Urban's old phone number.
Amazing.
And they gave him a bunch of gifts and stuff like that, and said, "Please don't tell anybody that you saw."
And also, it's like he didn't really care. Like he didn't.
But how cool would it be to know that you had Carl Urban's old phone number?
No, they just start getting fucking video messages from Simon Pegg,
Just random.
Because at first I was like, "Why would he say something?" I was like, "I wouldn't." I'd be like,
"Oh yeah,
keep him coming."
You guys, you're sending me these. Why was I added to this group?
Yeah,
but imagine that Simon Pegg would like you to join a group called, at cast of fucking Star Trek.
Yeah, and then like it's Chris Pine's in there, fucking Zoe Saldana, and they're all just sending you fucking Snapchats.
And now you've got their number.
Yeah.
I was about to say Tom Hardy, but I'm mixing up my Star Trek movies now.
Is he in? Oh, he is. He's in Nemesis.
No, he's in Nemesis. That'd be cool. I found it, just talking about things owned by other people, I read Errol Flynn's biography recently, autobiography, right? That he
and who owned that?
Well, I own it now. I've got a copy of it. But but he grew up in Hobart, Tasmania, right? And yes, yeah,
I knew that.
I think I knew kind of offhand that he was Australian, but he doesn't sound
Tasmanian.
I would never have thought so.
Yeah, but no, he just talks about growing up in.
We've got a lovely Tasmanian listener. Hopefully, more than one.
I fucking love Hobart.
No, I love Tasmania.
In a heartbeat. It's my favourite place. But so I was just looking at. We were down there last year. I was looking at houses there, and not that we're going to move there. I just wanted to know what it cost to live in
I do that
Hobart.
all the time.
Way less than Sydney.
Yes.
If anyone's wondering.
Yeah.
From what I pay for this place, you could get a waterfront mansion in Hobart.
Wow.
But it suddenly occurred to me, I'm like, because he lived in a bunch of places, I'm like, you could own a house that Errol Flynn owned. His parents owned. That Errol Flynn lived in. And like you wouldn't even know necessarily. So I tried to find out where
do you live?
If those houses are known, and they are. That'd be cool. Imagine being like, this house was Errol Flynn's house.
That's like I watched. There was an old. Was it the Mark Gaddis series about horror movies. Might have been.
I've got some Mark Gatiss news.
Have you? Fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
That's a coincidence. But Peter Cushing's house is in a little town. I forget the name of the town in England, like kind of southeast of London. And someone lives there.
He lives in Stonehenge.
Didn't know.
Southwest.
Someone didn't know. Someone owned the house. Didn't know it was Peter Cushing's house. There's a little plaque up there now, but just someone owns Peter Cushing's old house, I guess.
That's great.
Fascinating.
Everyone probably owns
There's a
every
museum
actor's old
around
house.
the corner. A Peter Cushing museum around the corner, not in his house.
Yeah, right.
Someone bought it.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, but a lot of houses like really lean into it. This was the house that you know, fucking William Shakespeare lived in, or even you know, we know where all Lovecraft.
Yes.
Every house he lived in.
One of them's a Starbucks.
Has a plaque on it. One of them's a Starbucks.
I've been to it.
Yeah, and where they hanged those witches is now a Walgreens. But
That's true.
I love that. Fucking, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I hate James Corbin. I fucking can't stand James Corbin. But there's one episode that he goes back to Liverpool with.
Mark Gatiss.
Never remember anyone's names. No, not Mark Gatiss. With a Beatle, not John.
Oh.
Paul McCartney.
Oh.
And Paul McCartney just knocks on a house and he's like, "Hi, I used to live here. Do you mind if I come and look around?" And the person's like, "Sure."
Come in, James Corbin, and whoever you are.
No, the Mark Gatiss news that I have you guys seen a show called Inside Number 9?
Inside Number 9.
Oh.
BBC.
No, I may have heard of this. Is he the Prime Minister in it?
No, like so. Actually, I haven't
assume it's
gotten up.
about-
There's like
I assume it's
9
about that.
seasons. There's 9 seasons. No. It's not that.
It's got Steve Pemberton in it.
He writes it. So it's the guys, Pemberton, Gaddis, and the other guy from League of Gentlemen, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, sure.
This is a horror anthology, not sketches like their other shows. Every episode is self-contained, goes for half an hour. Comedy horror. Sometimes more comedy, sometimes more horror, sometimes extremely good, sometimes just okay. But there's season after season. The first one I watched was the Christmas special. And it was like somebody watched an episode of Garth Marenghi and said,
Oh.
this would be funnier if it took itself deadly fucking serious. Right?
What?
And it's so good. Not all of them are as good as each other, but there was one where it's set, you know the game Sardines where it's like hide and seek, but if you find someone, you've got to hide with them. So you end up with a whole fucking bunch of people hiding together. So it's a game of that in this like posh, old-timey mansion with a bunch of people. Everyone in it is someone from another British comedy. But there's just something a bit off, weird kind of secrets in the bud. But the script is so tight. It's some of the best written comedy I've ever seen. I think you both really like it. Luke, because you love British comedy. Matt, because you love horror. Like, it's just straight down the middle.
I made up what this was in my head
to get through.
Oh, sure.
That's not what I thought. I don't know, for some reason, I saw this when it was in here earlier, when we logged on, and then for some reason I was like, oh, it's the thing about someone who lives next door to the Prime Minister, but clearly...
That would be... If that doesn't exist, that would be very funny.
That's what I thought.
That's a great opportunity.
And I don't
Write
know
that shit down.
where I've come up with that. Like, is there a show that's about that? Is that where I've come up with that?
No.
Anyway, whatever.
But here's something for you, Dan. Evidently, they're turning it into a West End stage play that will premiere next year.
Okay, there you go. Got to get myself to London. I was going to London, and I didn't go because of COVID.
I've got some London news.
And I was going to go and see a stage version of Upstart Crow, which I didn't even like the show of, but I just wanted to see David Mitchell.
Wait, was David Mitchell in it?
Yes. The full cast of Upstart Crow.
Jesus Christ, that would be great.
It's his worst show.
Yeah, I don't care.
And I like Shakespeare, but I just couldn't. Yeah.
That was terrible.
I guess if I had the choice of that or just seeing a filming of Who's Lie... Or no, Would I Lie to You? I'd probably go to Would I Lie to You. That would be pretty good to see.
True. Oh, I never thought of that.
I wonder if you could do that. Surely you could.
That would be good.
They do film them in front of audiences, right?
Yeah.
I want to go see 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown.
I want to do a QI.
Do you know what I watched? I don't know why YouTube recommended this to me. I was I must have watched something with Jimmy Carr. I did. I watched a podcast with Jimmy Carr.
I watch heaps of Jimmy Carr.
And it was the episode of I don't know if it was Eight Cats or if it was one of the other shows, but it was just after his tax stuff had broken.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And it's so good because he just has to sit there while all these comedians rip him to shreds, and it's so funny.
awesome.
And they still bring it up to this day.
Because it's so funny. Because there's like a story about like nurses and stuff not getting paid enough and that kind of stuff, and it's like. And then someone's like,
tax.
"Yeah, you know what pays their wages, don't you, Jimmy?" It's very funny.
But he did own that whole tax
I know.
thing at the time.
That's what I was going to say. Good on him for sucking it up.
Because it wasn't illegal.
It seems like it was an
what he
honest
doing.
mistake. He said, his accountant called him and said, "Do you want to pay less tax?" And he said, "Yes."
Yes.
Of course.
And his accountant went and did it, and then it came out, and he went, "Oh, I'm doing something terrible," and just owned
people,
it. And then,
people assume he knew the specifics, which
Mind you, if he wasn't
why would
famous and it didn't come out in the news that he was doing it, he would have just kept doing it. I'm positive of that.
Well, he potentially wouldn't have known, right? Because he's paying somebody to do it. I mean, give him the benefit of the doubt.
Mate,
Maybe he just didn't know.
I had an accountant that was just like, "Do you want to pay less tax?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Do I need receipts? He's like, "Mate, I've got receipts. Don't worry. Don't you worry. You'll put your head about that."
I've got a printer right here, mate.
Yeah, he was like that, and then one day he just stopped answering my calls, and he wasn't working at the firm anymore. But man, he saved me a lot of money on tax for a couple of years in a row. Jimmy Carr is great because he doesn't care about being cancelled. He's like, fucking try and cancel me. Like, I'll tell offensive jokes. They're offensive. They're meant to be.
In this interview, he said that he thought. He said honestly, when the tax thing came out, he was like, "This is it. I'm fucked."
That might be it.
And then he said,
Not
and some
all those
people,
jokes about the Holocaust.
Yeah, no, that's. And he said some people. He said it was very educational in a way because some people that he was very close with, like, abandoned him over it.
Yeah, right.
And he said that it was just so interesting, just to learn about people in a way.
Fuck, he's gotten in good shape. He is so skinny now.
He's always a bit. He got a bit chunky, didn't he?
No, he got very chunky for a while.
Then he spent a lot of money on
Not being
making
chunky.
himself look that way.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Did he?
He's had a lot of work done.
Oh, has
But he jokes about it. Like, he's completely open about it. And
he's open about fucking everything.
I think that's why it works. He doesn't shy away from anything. He just owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't call him on it because he's not ashamed of anything. He just says it. I did see the other day, I had to click on it because it was just one of the little recommended YouTubes was Jimmy Carr's most offensive joke. And I'm like, I'd like to hear what his most offensive joke is. And he was on some show and they're like, what's your most offensive joke? And he's like, okay, here's my most offensive joke. If only there were more mosquito nets in Africa, we could save millions of mosquitoes from dying needlessly of AIDS.
Look, speaking of
Call
London,
him on it. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah,
speaking of London,
news.
what's that video about? He makes a joke and it's Anthony Kiedis yelling at him in the crowd. I don't remember the specifics. There's a Jimmy Carr video. It's a clip where you can see he makes a joke about a musician and somebody starts telling him to shut the fuck up in the crowd and he rips into him and it turns out it's Anthony Kiedis from the Chili Peppers is like in a shouting match with Jimmy Carr at a show.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but look it up.
I want to look that up.
Did you see the footage of Seinfeld getting heckled in Sydney?
I heard recordings of it on a podcast and I heard about it, yeah.
I watched it. Yeah. He handled it pretty well because, I mean, he's Jewish.
Yes.
And the closest he's come to ever being political is somebody once asked him if he thinks Israel has the right to exist. And he said, yes, I think they do.
Right.
And so
okay. Has he not
targeted
said
by
anything at all? I just assumed he must have said something.
very, very little. And
interesting.
And that's why when these people got up to protest Palestine, he was like, I understand what you're doing, but honestly, it's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
this is like, he's like, I hear you got some social problems with your indigenous people here. That's like me doing a gig fucking up in Montreal and making a protest about that. Like, you're talking to the wrong people. Like, no one here can do anything about it. You know.
Yeah, I heard he handled it all right, but it did kind of, it basically did ruin the show.
The show, threw him off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mood was just
Well, it
very.
would.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, it's not nice.
Because it's not,
Not
like
everyone's
a
like
normal...
Jimmy Carr, who begs people to heckle him so that he can
That's
say,
right.
Well,
"You want
I
my
don't-
comeback? Well, scrape it off your mum's throat."
Yeah. But yeah, like I think it's a bit different to a normal heckle because it's not a. It's completely
It's
different.
Yeah.
putting you off on purpose.
It's not even
Yeah.
about him, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like-
so you can't
Well, that's
really.
what he was like. He's like, "Man, I've got nothing to do with this. It's
Yeah.
just every Jewish person now is responsible for this, are they?"
Yeah, rough.
It is rough. Yeah.
Let's talk about something
Remember,
fun.
Speaking
remember when
of
he was
London.
in his 40s and he had that 17-year-old girlfriend? That was funny.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That you can make fun of him for. Heckle him
Yes.
about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of London, Fallout London is out. It is a
Yes.
mod for
But
is it Fallout
PC
4?
only?
PC
I'm gonna-
only.
yeah, I would assume so. It's got to be too big. For,
Yeah, and you got to pay for it from
Dropbox.
GOG.
do you?
Oh, okay.
GOG.
That's interesting.
No, I do have a PC, but I don't think it's going to run this just quietly.
So it's a mod
Yeah.
for Fallout 4. Apparently, it's it's
How did I
independent.
not even see this?
Like it's interesting that they've been allowed to do this, but it's been made independently, and it is a DLC sized Fallout 4 mod made.
I'm looking at it now.
By
It
people
looks
at home.
Extremely cool.
Well,
Yeah, it does.
This is a good thing. It's Bethesda's good with stuff like this and mods.
Yeah, right.
Like
They've always been good with
allowed.
mods, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to pay for it. That's a kind of a sometimes.
No,
you know,
that's
like,
true.
There's the mod storefront, so Bethesda's
Yeah,
getting
like,
a cut of
because
this. Bethesda is
I always-
100%
Oh, yeah.
getting a cut.
It's like, you
Like,
know,
don't
like
think-
Lucasfilm was always
Free
okay with you
anyway.
doing Star Wars films, but if you tried to do something commercial, they'd say no.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
no, that's why there is like the mods. You can buy mods even on the Xbox. You can go buy mods, and you have to pay for them and stuff. But Bethesda's getting
Okay.
a cut of that, and they're
Right.
good with that.
It's a shame this is just a PC mod because this does. I would like to play this. I would like
Yeah,
to play this.
I think it's
Yeah,
probably
and there were rumors
too-
for years that there was going to be an English Fallout.
And so people got sick of waiting and just made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume this is just too big in scale to do on. You know, like you've got to modify more things than you can do on the Xbox. I guess probably.
I think it is possible to come at some point.
Oh, it is
because-
possible to come. I promise you.
At some point.
But yeah, you got a small team working on it. They're just going to work on what they know.
I don't need a small team, mate.
Hold on. Hear him out. I want to hear about this. What this small team does.
But it's a small team working on it. They managed to get this far, and I'm sure with a bit more help, we can get it to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would love to play this, but I don't have anything to play Fallout 4 on that's not my Xbox. So
I do,
hopefully it will.
I
You're not going to get any achievements from this.
don't get achievements.
So it's a
The achievement you will receive is enjoying playing the game.
I know, but they do say on here, if you're hoping
derives
to play
no
this
pleasure
player-
from that anymore, Dan.
So at the moment, you will need to buy the game from either GOG or Steam in order to play the mod. If you're hoping to play the game by PC copy of from the Epic's Game Store, you can't. So there's something
Oh,
how they
interesting.
do it, and then or Xbox or PlayStation consoles, but that won't be on release. But look to the future; it may be coming.
I'm excited about that.
So
You mentioned Steam. I bought something on Steam this week. For $6. It was well worth every one of those $6. It's called Tachyon Dreams. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Tachyon, the faster than light particle.
Wait,
Tachyon.
I've heard of
Tachyon.
this.
I have
It
as
is-
well.
It is made like a Sierra game.
Ooh.
And it looks like King's Quest, Police Quest, you know, the pre-VJ versions, except it's science fiction, so it's more like Space Quest, I guess.
Yeah.
You are the lone survivor on a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
You are the dishwasher, and you're the best they've got. And
Best
It's very
dishwasher,
space-
or
it's very Space Quest. Because in that you're the janitor.
yeah, exactly, correct. Yeah, so it's direct rip off of that. You're speaking. So basically, the AI of the ship has said everyone else is gone. You're all that's left. You have to basically save the future, and so you can travel back in time 3 million years or forward in time 80 years, and you can get things from the past taken to the future and things like that. So it's a little bit like Day of the Tentacle as well, like that. I don't think it's a huge game. I think it's $6. It can't be that big, right? But it is
Yeah.
fun as fuck. It's very fun, and it
pretty
feels
good.
just like you got to text commands and everything. Like
Is this run on Mac? I would play this.
it's PC only.
No.
Sorry.
Well, I could this would probably run in.
Oh, this
Parallels.
yeah, you got to
I'd
begin
say
to train.
Yeah, I have parallels
you-
for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. If you can boot into Windows, you definitely be able to play.
That's how I
this.
played Dreams in the Witch House.
Oh fuck, that was good. That was. I keep thinking of playing that again too. I'd love to play that again
No, this looks good.
because I ruined everything when I played that. By the end,
Yeah, no. My first
fucking
playthrough was
took
terrible.
over.
I didn't even know. So, Dreams in the Witch House is a point-and-click adventure game. I guess I guess it's more of a later LucasArts style, but it's
Yeah.
a Lovecraftian, and there's way more going on. And like for example, you have to go to class,
yeah.
and I didn't realize when you go to class,
that
you're going to be.
mechanic was over my head for ages.
Yeah.
You
actually
have to listen
write
in class
down
because you
Yeah.
have to then go to exams.
You personally,
the exams,
you personally have
or
to
you
take,
will fail.
physically take notes, or on your
Yeah.
computer take notes.
You, the
about-
human, not you, the
You have
character.
to take notes about what the teacher is
Same
saying.
thing when you research. Later on, you research about witches. You get let into the game. The game isn't going to remember for you.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
to remember
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you have read.
Yes, and you have to make notes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The first
It's
time.
not like Monkey Island where if somebody tells you something, that character now
Guybrush
knows.
knows. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, you will have to remember it yourself.
Which,
I've been playing a game. I've been playing Super Mario Odyssey, or
Great
as
game.
my daughter calls it, Super Mario Morrissey.
Morrissey.
Yeah, from the Smiths.
Yeah.
Please,
Or,
please.
Or the Dowser game.
Oh yeah.
So
As in Bowser?
yeah, Dowser.
That's
That's what I said.
You know
of course.
Dowser,
So
right?
we were playing Link's Awakening, aka
You've heard of Waluigi?
yeah,
This is
Dowser.
Dowser.
we were playing Link's Awakening, aka the Egg Game, and then we had played Super Mario Odyssey very briefly before that, and then just one day she goes, "Dad, I want to play that game with Dowser," and I said, "Oh, Super Mario Odyssey," and she was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
So I put it on. We finished the fucking game the other day.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah, and
Amazing.
she loved it. So
And she's just happy to sit there and watch you play it.
she plays a little. Like I'll give her the controller every now and then. She'll do some stuff, and then she'll go, "Oh, you do this bit, Dad." And then it's great. And I gotta say,
We share the controller when we do that. So like I tell her, she puts her finger on yellow, and I'm like, "That's jump." And when
Oh, yeah.
I say jump, you jump.
yeah, no, but she like we'll get to like
Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest that way.
oh, nice. Yeah, well, so when we get to the boss fights and stuff, she's like, "Oh, you take this." But I gotta say, I have not finished a fucking Super Mario game
Yeah,
in
I don't think I have, mate.
30 years. 30 years, 20 years. And it was so nice just to play through a game like that. Like, honestly. And then now I'm like, I want to play more. So I'm like saying to Leah, like, let's get another one.
Yeah,
Like,
Luigi's Mansion.
yeah, I've got Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3 on the Switch. I've got,
Yeah.
I got the Kirby one because she said she liked Kirby. But then we started playing the Kirby one, and there was a bit where, Kirby eats stuff and turns into it.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a bit where, like, at the start, he eats a car, he
Freaked
turns
her
into a
out.
car, and she goes, "Spit that out. I don't like this." And then I said, well, this is the game. And she goes, "I don't like it when he eats the things. Just spit them out."
Yay.
Yeah. So I was just walking around, and I was like, "Okay, we have to eat the things." She goes, "No, I don't like it when he eats things."
Is she okay when Yoshi eats things in
So-
Mario?
We talked about Yoshi. So he's not in Super Mario Odyssey yet. He's around. We haven't found him yet. So we finished the
Okay.
game, but you go back and you can still do more. And we never found him.
Not
But
like
I've-
Super Mario World where it's like, hi,
But she
Yoshi,
loves
get on.
dinosaurs. So I said, "Oh, Yoshi's a dinosaur," and she was like, "Well, let's get him then." And
Yeah, he lets you ride him.
so I'm going
Yeah.
to on the Switch. If you have the online subscription, you get the the old N64 games and the SNES games, and they're all in there. So
I
I'm
got
just gonna.
that.
Yeah.
I got that just for GoldenEye.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm going to go. Apparently, the N64 Yoshi game is good.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
But yeah, anyway,
I
super
we
fun.
As long as
playing
he doesn't
Mario
eat anything.
Mario Kart with Harper recently
yeah.
because we go to this little indoor playground thing at the mall near us. It's pretty cool, but they had this little, I don't know, something. They do it up all the time. They bring in new things, and they've brought in this Mario Kart 4-player arcade thing. and it's fun as fuck. And
Yeah, right.
So we fucking played that for.
We went out to, when we were in Australia, we took Lyra to. We went out to Rhodes. I think it's Rhodes. You know where we looked for apartments, Dan?
Yep.
Is that Rhodes? That area?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The
That's what I'm
shopping
thinking
centre
of.
there has
Past
an
Olympic
indoor
Park?
thing. Yeah.
The place.
Yeah.
She talks
I've been
about that place all the time. She's like, "Oh,
we went to IKEA last week, and Harper
I want to go to Sydney and go to the ball.
This is where my
place."
favourite place is. Yeah. That's so funny. Harper was in the car park outside IKEA, and she's like, "I've been here before," and I'm like, "Yeah, you have," and she's like, "This is my favourite place." I'm like, "We're not going there today."
Yeah. Anytime she sees photos on the photo frame of Sydney, she goes, "I want to go to Sydney. I want to go to the ball place."
Yeah.
Ball place. Was it just a big ball pit or something? Or
Yeah.
It's part
Big
of it.
ball
Part
pit
of it
with
is that.
slides and and
Can I go on it?
bridges.
Yeah.
Well,
If you had a kid,
yeah. I mean, you could go watch my kid in there, I guess, if we come back.
I don't want to watch the kids. I just
she
want
will
to
come back
you can
over at
watch
some
my
point.
kid too, and Matt and I could go for a drink, and you can just
Yeah. They sell coffee there. It's not great though.
They do. No, and if actually you get a free one if you
Oh, that's true.
because you buy that you've got to pay to get yourself in as well,
Yeah.
which is a bit cheeky, but they give
Honestly,
you
it was pretty good.
Yeah. We're probably at the end of this show
already.
We've come to the end.
but listeners, the journey isn't over.
No.
If you've got the green,
Not a lot of it.
Gonorrhea.
There's this one episode of Inside Number 9 I watched last night where he makes friends with this homeless man who was outside his house. So the homeless man kind of like guilts him into letting him inside. But the premise is that he slowly becomes like the homeless man as they go along. But in the first scene, he's like, "Oh, I guess you can come in." And he's like, "You want me to take my shoes off?" He's like, "Yeah, if you wouldn't mind." And he takes his shoe off and his foot's just like pus coming out of his toenails and stuff. And he's like, "Actually, fuck it, put your shoes back on."
Oh, God. Go to patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And you will get episodes. Actually, you can sign up for free and get episodes early on there. And no, that's not true.
Stop lying to the listeners.
You've got to pay $1 to get episodes early. You get them a couple of days early. You can sign up for free. You'll get the video and the audio version of this show in your Patreon feed. If you pay $1 a month, you get it early. And if you pay $5 a month every week, you get the after party, which is where we keep talking. And as we've said before, apparently we're just chatty lately. It's
just
longer than the main show. So, and we're going to talk about this week. We're going to talk about Francis Ford Coppola.
We always love
Extras
talking
on
about
set.
him.
We're going to talk about. I want to talk about the
there's
fact
also
that space
some
food
deeper
tastes
issues.
bad.
Okay. Space food sticks, those little brown chocolatey things we used to get when we were kids. from
You'll
the
have to listen to
supermarket.
find out what I'm going to
Do they
say
still
about
make
it.
them?
Well, you'll have to listen
Let's
to find out.
Apparently
And we've
they're not
got.
good, though.
Looks like we've only got a single Geek of the Week candidate. Geek of the Week is
But
a
it's
segment.
worth listening for that. I reckon.
All right. So Geek of the Week is a segment where Luke gets to decide if, out of all the celebrities who died this week, which one gets Geek of the Week,
One
or
deserves
none of
a
them,
little
perhaps.
accolade.
Sometimes none of them
Sometimes
get
it
it.
is none.
Yep. Just depends how I feel.
Patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm. Otherwise, like, subscribe, leave us a positive review. Have a nice life.
Leave us any type of review.
All right.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.